Well, today we're going to kind of go through how you can use your SAS Premier scoring system with the ACES system. Now, I find the ACES system very useful for small matches, your monthly matches where you don't have dedicated scorekeepers. We did find that using ACES at End of Trail one year, it took us a lot longer to get things, say after the first day to get the proof lists up, because we ended up going through, even though we moved the data from the ACES into the SAS program, we ended up printing out proof lists for each posse and each stage and proofing them to the score sheet. And we did find quite a few keying errors on the ACES system. So it's very critical that if you're going to use the ACES system, that you have a paper backup. Now, you can create your own paper, but if you're using your SAS program, it's very simple. Now, one of the things you want to do is when you're getting ready to set up your match, of course, is in your match setup. It's just like setting any other match up. You just set your match up. You're going to do everything on the SAS program that you would normally do. This little box down here needs to be checked so that you have the menu will come up for the ACES import and export. Everything else is the standard. Now, if you have other matches, if you're going to do Wild Bunch in that, when you go to export your data over to the ACES system, you will have the option of whether you want to do the main match or the Wild Bunch match. So pretty much in your match setup, that's standard. It's just make sure that you have your box checked down here. Then you just go ahead as normal and you do all your registration. It's easy to register your shooters. Well, first of all, you might want to send out your flyers for your match. You might want to send out your registration forms like we looked at in one of the earlier videos on how to send that information out using the SAS program. It becomes real easy to get your information out to all the shooters in your database. So it's just a matter of using your special email, which is in your reports menu down there, and go ahead and send out your flyers, your registration forms. Then you can go ahead and register your shooters just like normal. You just register them on a normal basis. Do all your financials just like you've always done. One of the things that's very critical in between SAS, the SAS scoring system, and the ACES is your categories. You want to make sure that these codes are the same as what's in your ACES system. So if you have 49er in your ACES system as something other than 49ER, you're going to want to make sure that these two match. So before you start registering, you want to check your ACES system to make sure that these codes are the same. If not, it'll cause problems when you try to bring the ACES data back into the scoring program. Another critical thing is the ACES system, you can have different codes for the same people, for the same shooting class. So you could, and I know one year with using ACES at one of the, I think it was a annual match or one of those that I was at, we found that when they were giving out the awards that they were giving them out and they were going men's senior, and they handed out the men's senior awards. Then they turn around a few people down the road later, they say senior men or seniors. Well, senior and senior men are the same category, but they had one as MS for men's senior and one as S for senior men's, which were basically the same category, only different descriptions. that caused some problems. They had to go back and redo everything and get them set up. So it's really critical that you look at these and make sure that you do not have duplicate names in here. An easy way to do that is, well, you can sort by the description and take a look and add them, but you want to make sure that if you're if you're using seniors and this, that you don't have a men's senior or a men's senior dualist or something like that, just the senior and so forth. Your SASS program comes with a lot of, these are pretty much standard, so you don't have to worry about them. But if you add something new, make sure that this code is separate and that it doesn't match one that you've already got in there. Okay? Very important. Okay, then once you're into, you've got your registration people done, you've got most of your financials. Then you can go ahead and assign the posses. One of the big things, it's easy in assigning posses in your SASS program, because I mean we went through assigning posses and it makes it a lot easier. I've never tried to do posse assigning with the ACES system, so I'm not sure how that's done, but this I think would make it a little easier. You've got all the people here right in front of you, and you're on a big screen. You're not sitting at a small tablet. So you're done. Print your score sheets. That's very important. You can preview your list here. You can look and see how your posses are set up. So you can go through and get them all set up properly, and get everything ready. Then you can go ahead and print your stage score sheets, because you're going to need those for sure. When that's done, you can exit out of this. Then so say we have everybody registered, and we're going to send that data now to the ACES system. We have the menu with that little box check. This box in the match setup, this box here will come up. So export the data, or no, we'll import the data. So at this point we're going to export it. And it's going to export the complete master file. No, we're not going to do that. We're just going to export the current match data. Okay, it says export data located in the C Cowboy extract directory, and that's the name, ACES registered export zip. Attach this to an email and send it to your ACES device. So what you're going to do is let's go into our C drive. We're going to go into here, wrong one. We're going to go into the ACES Cowboy extracts directory, which is got too many extra. Okay, and there's the program that you're going to do. Now what that contains is 3 files. You'll see when I highlight this, it's going to show those 3. Now those, if you wanted to look at those files, those are in the extract ACES extract directory. These are the 3 files that the program creates and sends over to the ACES system. Now you can, these are CSV files, or comma separated variable, and they're just an Excel file, so you can look at them if you want. This is what it was sent over. And in there you've got your number of stages, you've got your you've got your categories, last name, first name, alias, so forth down the line. Also what the program, it sends, these are the categories. So remember when I said these were the categories that get sent to your ACES system. So you want to make sure that these are the same as what's in your ACES, or else you're going to create duplicates. And then the other thing is the parameter file, and the parameter file is really what is all set up, how many stages, your safeties, your minor procedurals, and those things that are in your parameter. Those are the 3 files that the SASS program zips up and puts into this. Now, I can't show you how the ACES system works because there's no way for me to show it on the screen, or at least I haven't found out. But you can go ahead and attach this to an email and send it to your ACES device, or send it to yourself and then pick it up on your ACES device. When you open that file, the attachment, ACES recognizes this name, and it will go in and pick up those files and import those into the ACES system. It's I worked with Pit Viper when we set this up, and it works very nice on your ACES. Okay, so at that point, now what you've done is you've gone through and you've set up you've sent them over. Now, one of the things that you can do is if you have, say you don't have all the devices for your 8 or 10 thing, you can mix the two. So you can have you can enter the scores manually in your SASS program, and you can have also import them from the ACES system. When you're importing, even if you had some of those scores into the on the ACES side, the system will not overwrite something that's already in the program. So you can mix the two. So if you have posses 6 and 7 that are going to be doing just standard, let them shoot their, enter them on the scores as normal, and the other ones can come in on the ACES side. So that's one of the features that you can mix and match. I mean, so I know when you have 8 or 10 posses, you need 8 or 10 devices with a couple extra just for backup. And those devices are not cheap. So if you just have a couple of them, you can use those two and also key other ones in. So now that the match is over, let's go ahead and bring that data in. So we're going to go to what happened. Okay, let's go back. In the ACES system, ACES has a option, and I think it's the tools or one of those options that says export to the SASS Premier system. And what that does, let's go back to our directory, into our directory again. What that does, that sends data back to you. Now, I created a folder just called ACES data. It emails the information back. When you get that, you can put that data in a folder. So when you get it back, you save those files, and these are the files that it saves: ACES scores export, ACES shooters export. Once again, they're just nothing but Excel files. So ACES is kind of funny in that it doesn't use a SASS number. Somehow it must create its own little numbering scheme. But if you were to add a shooter to your ACES tablets, say that someone comes in later on after you've exported your data, you can add them to the ACES side, but make sure that you have a SASS number with it. If you don't have a SASS number, you're going to end up with some errors when you try to import. And then you would have to go into have to come into your, you can edit these by going into your shooters. Here's the shooters that came back, and these shows the DQs if there was any, the categories and so forth. So and here is your codes that the system uses. So those are all there. Emails, names, first names, last name, a lot of them are in there, but the SASS number. Now, if there was a blank SASS number in here, it would create some problems. Excuse me. Now, what you're going to want to do Okay, what you're going to want to do is you're going to look through here and set up your names. I got a feeling. Well, no, we'll see what happens when we get into this. Okay, and the same thing you can do with the scores. Now, if you had to add a SAS number to this, you're going to want to also go into your scores, because your scores is going to have a blank also, and you'll see that there's the 12 stages. 12. If you have someone in here with a blank name, you're going to end up having to put that in there. So that's the other thing. You can always go into these datas and work on them. So once that's done, like I said, these were the two files that the ACES system exported back to us. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the reports, and this time we're going to import the data. And it's going to want to know select a folder, and no, we'll use the default folder. So if you ended up putting those two files into the extract, you can just hit yes. Otherwise, or hit no. Otherwise, we're going to select the folder. I find it easier to select it, then I can put it wherever I want to. Okay, there's the ACES data. Now it doesn't show in here because this window doesn't show, it just is a browse window, but you can pick that up by clicking on this and saying OK. Now the system is importing your ACES data, and it takes a little bit because it's going through. Now if you have added somebody new, it's going to register them in your match. The one thing it will not do, though, is it will not put a match fee into it, because there's no financial information kept in the ACES program. So what you would want to do is, after you would want to remember who that guy was, go back into your registration area or into your register shooter and go ahead and put his match fee in there so that your financials come out correct. One of the things that when the program is importing this, now what we did a lot of times when we were doing it, we took and proof list the scores. So what we would do is, after the input got through, now you're going to notice that this is going to come up, oh, it says all shooters not scored, please check. So there again, somewhere along the line, some shooters did not get scored on the ACES side. So remember, we have that option that we can look at by scoring individual shooters. We can see who, well, we got 5 people that did not get completely scored. And this again is where those score sheets come in handy. So if we look at Captain Regulator, we'll see that he's missing stage 3. So we're going to need to find the stage 3 scorecard and put his score in. So, alright, now as soon as we entered him, he's gone away. That means he's done. Fast Drawed Fawn. And she's in stage 5. Now if you need it, stage 5 is missing, but you can also tell by looking here as to what posse she was on. So it's very simple to go in and find those score sheets for posse 3, stage 5, and enter her score. Okay, and she disappeared. Lizard Kid, stage 5 again for posse 3. It looks like there was stage 5 had some problems with their ACES side, and so we're going to go ahead. Queen Helen. Okay, it looks like Queen Helen it looks like she either had a stage DQ or she quit or did something. So we can do either a match DQ, which will click them, change them all, or we can go through and just DNF her. It doesn't matter which one you do. It depends on how you want it to show up, and so we'll just go through and click her down. Okay, she ended up disappearing. Now we'll do Wild Cattle Kate, and for stage 5 again. So somewhere in stage 5 there was some problems with the ACES device that we missed a bunch of people. So now that it's done, you can update scores. But what I normally will do after we've got everybody in, I'm going to go into the posse assigning, and let's see, I think I have stage 3 set up to print it, and we'll go posse 1. I think I've got this set up so it prints on the screen. And we can do a proof now, so we can go through and take the score sheets. You can print a proof, or you could do it this way if you wanted to. Just go through and check the scores against the score sheets. So you want to make sure that these are correct. If ACES printed, and what we found a lot of times in ACES is that it's the way the numbers are set up, 3, 6, and 9, and I think it's 2, 5, and 8, and 1, 4, and 7 up the line. That because the tablets are the numbering system is long, sometimes they would hit the 3 and it would end up being a 6, or they would hit the 9 and it would end up being a 6, or they would hit a 6 and it's a 9. So it's easy to do that. So that's why we have the score sheets, and the score sheets are usually the gospel for entering. So once you've gone through, and this is where we found it took time, because if we were entering here, we could just hit a proof list and go ahead and print out the proof. Well, this is going to print it on the printer, so it prints it automatically to their enter. But then you would just go through and print them out and look at them. Okay, so once again, those score sheets are critical, and usually we have the people sign the score sheet so they can do that. There's no way to sign the ACES system, and a lot of people but when they've got a score sheet, it makes it pretty simple that they can look at it a lot easier. It's a sheet of paper that has their score down, and they can go in and do that. So once we've gone through and did the proof, we can go ahead and update the scores. This will go ahead and do all the updating for us, get everything ready, so we can either we can print out the awards. We can go ahead and let's go ahead and just get this done first. Okay, updates complete. Okay, now at this point we can go into, we're going to say maybe we'll go next stage. All right, then we'll go ahead and exit, because I made some okay, so anyway, we can go ahead now and do our if we do our category final, and we'll go ahead and create the PDF, because we can attach these to an email through the special email report section and send all these out to the shooters. So it tells us, of course, where they set up at. Now, it wants to know if we want to print our awards list in reverse order. If we say yes, how many places are we going to go? Well, we'll say we're going to go 3 for now. And do we want to create a PDF? No, we're not going to do that. What this does, like I showed you before, I guess I said yes. So what this does is, of course, it gives them in a reverse order. So your guy that's handing out, or your person that's handing out the awards, can go 2 and 1 and so forth. And of course it puts each one on a sheet by themselves, and it's in reverse order. So it makes it kind of nice. One of the things the report does, it also gives the state that they're from, so when you're handing it out, and you can say, okay, first place was Bloody Bill Anderson from California. Yay, okay. And we can print out the match final, And we'll do it in results and we'll create the PDF for it. And once again, this gives you your overall match finals. Clean, you can do a clean match report. And we'll create a PDF for that. These are the clean match shooters, and so forth. You can also do your match with extras, and I think we went through that when we were showing that before as to all things. So you have all your reports that you can do on the SASS program. There's a lot of reports that you can come up with. And you know, once you're done with that, you can go into your special email. Just go ahead and set up your input and go ahead and this happens to be somebody that we were using before. 12-stage fan, you know, this is sending out on those scenic places. This was a registration form that they send out, and they send it out in groups. So if you were to look at the groups, you will see that, you know, here, oh, I guess I cleared the groups. So anyway, yeah, okay. So anyhow, that's kind of where you would send your emails out. You would move all those into your attachments directory. So you would go to your cowboy extract and you would pick up your clean match. Oh, it looks like I printed an HTML. I'll have to go in and delete those. There's a lot of them. Your categories. Score by category, main match final. So those would be the three you could copy into your attachments directory. Remember again that anything in that attachments directory is going to be sent out. So if we look at the attachments directory, you'll want to delete whatever in there and then copy in the new stuff. Okay, so that really kind of gives you an idea of using the SASS program with the ACES system. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to just email me and I'll try to answer them for you. And once again, if you have a video you would like to see on some of the features of the SASS program, just email me. Thank you very much.